This is what I call my scale of transformation. There are many scales out there. This is the one that, in my experience, again, coaching since 2010, reflects transformation and personal transformation the most accurately. You could think of it as down here, there's the competitive states. Forgive my handwriting. And up here is the collaborative. Okay? Any sticking point in your life right now, you can relate it to one of these levels. Any sticking point. Apathy is the lowest state, and that's a state where you could say it's the embodiment of resistance, disconnection, giving up, retreating from feeling, retreating from life. It's at the very bottom. That's, if you think competitive, it's me versus the world, what's the point? You probably have apathy around some goals you maybe have given up on. You're like, what's the point? You don't even think about it. What's the point of life? Just kind of disconnect, go through the motions, and numb yourself. That's apathy. Lowest state. As you move up, you hit grief. And grief is the state of victimhood. Now, what you'll notice is with every state when you move up, you access more energy and more power. Now, it's interesting, right? You're like, well, apathy to victimhood, what does that mean? It means that if you tell someone who's in apathy that they are a victim, it is actually great advice for someone in apathy. It's very empowering. Why?
Get them to feel.
Yeah. It instills hope. It's hope. What's the point? I can't. Actually, the reason you can't is because you're a victim. You mean I could if I wasn't a victim? And it gives a hope that I could. So that's the level of grief. Then, level of grief, advice at that level is, hey, take responsibility. Don't be a victim, step it up. But that's scary. Shoot up to fear. But there's more energy and power with fear. Or even higher, what about getting angry? Are you sick of this shit? What are you going to do about it? Get mad. Doesn't it make you mad? Shoot up to anger. Now, these are all still competitive. It's you versus what's the point? You versus I'm a victim. You versus I'm scared. You versus I'm going to show them. But you can move up to anger here. Most of the population resides here. Grief, fear, anger. Most of the self-help advice resides around fear and anger. If you look at the news, it's all hitting on grief, fear, anger. Anything that reinforces victimhood, instills fear in you, gets you mad, riled you up. If you think of self-help, because most people find themselves at these levels, people will speak in terms of moving people up to fear, anger. It's the whole hustle mentality. It's the whole David Goggins. No days off, let's go. Step it up, discipline, work ethic. That hits on, come on, fear and anger. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's great for people to move up at those levels, but it's not the destination. When you let go of this, you move up to courage. And the key difference is courage is the first level where it's actually collaborative. It's no longer you versus. Me versus, I have to show them. Me versus, I'm scared. Here it's no me versus, what if I was no longer living in reaction? Right? What's actually, and back to your win, what's your win? People know what they don't want, they rarely know what they want. What do you want? If everything were to go amazingly well, what would that look like? I don't know. Well, that's something to figure out. Then, desire. And I placed desire here because this is a tool on the external. Like courage, you could say it's trying to figure out your win, but still a little general and vague. And there's a lot of playing to win, but you're still playing too small. You can temporarily use desire to dangle like the carrot in front of you to stick at something for a longer period of time. So you can use it to keep on going, desire. But this is also where the ego will sneak in and hijack authentic plans and steer you in the wrong direction. So it's like you get a glimpse of your win, and the ego's like, yes, do that, and steers you off. Desire. And then when you let go of that, you move up to true purpose, and then love. That's the whole scale. In terms of transformation, what this means for you is you need to identify where you are at. What is your default state? Now, all of you will have pockets of all these levels. Someone, for example, could be in purpose when it comes to their job and in fear when it comes to their relationships, right? So it can vary, but overall, if you take the past month of your life, what state would you have experienced the most? That would be your default state. That's your comfort zone. From there, you know the process, meaning if you're in grief, aim for fear, aim for anger. If you're in fear, aim for anger or courage. A big mistake people make is they try to jump too high. I'm in grief, got to go to purpose. Too high of a jump, you fail. Then you give up. So don't jump too high, aim for 1 or 2 levels up. Also, when it comes to the advice that you apply, advice changes per levels. As you saw, be a victim, don't be a victim. Be mad, let go of being mad. It changes. So a mistake people make is they apply the wrong advice for where they're at. They might be in level of fear and they're applying courage advice. Screws them up. And this is also the process that I personally take my clients through and go through myself when it comes to letting go. Why? Because letting go, just as we talked about earlier, how just in the simple application of it, there are so many subtleties. Well, think even larger than that in terms of your own self-esteem and self-worth, in terms of what you disowned, it is so vast that it's insane. You're like, how do I identify what I have to let go of? There's just so much fucking shit. Am I going to have to focus on every event in my life? What? It's just way too much. Okay? So, you could think of, again, here's you. We have this split. There's the unacceptable you, the acceptable you. Due to conditioning. This causes low self-esteem. Re-own all this so you're whole, but all this could be so many different things. So to simplify it and give you a map, this is the process. If you look at everything that triggers you or runs you in apathy, grief, fear, like going through this whole system here, it's like cutting out chunks. Here's the chunk of apathy. Here's the chunk of grief. Here's the fear. And you can re-own it systematically through this and use it as your map and compass to become whole. But any sticking point linked to it. What do people think? Fear. Oh, what about posting my video? Desire. Ego. I don't know what to do. Purpose. I'm procrastinating. Courage. Oh, it's too hard. Victim. Grief. All linked to this. Okay? And again, these levels, for each of these, I have a specific letting go meditation. And these are the exact meditations that I personally do myself. I don't do any others. Just those. The 8 meditations right here. For everyone here, we always hear in life there's a physical rite of passage everyone will go through in life. You'll be challenged and there's you before and you after. And that's great and it's part of life. But we always fail to address the more emotional and inner rite of passage. And that's what it's here. It's you walking this path. And the cool thing about it is that when you hear once more of what you don't know, the things you disown, the things that run you, I have no idea what runs any of you. I don't. The only person, and no one can tell you this, the only person is you who can discover this for yourself. How? No, what I found is with this system, when people go through this, there's different exercises and challenges to do as too, by the way, for each level. But by walking this path, it's going to trigger stuff within you. It's going to bring things up to your awareness. So you're walking this path, you're on apathy. Then boom, something comes up. Then we talk about it. Then you're on grief. More comes up. And we talk about it, which allows us to go deeper. So you're walking ultimately this rite of passage that is bringing up all these things, which I'm guiding you through and helping you process. And there's you before and there's you after. And it is night and fucking day. And some of the transformations, just even this morning, one of my coach texted me, are absolutely insane. He's like, I sometimes forget just how powerful this shit is, just in terms of like 2-3 weeks, like the before and after. Like no joke. Again, I've seen some people starting out, or even myself after all these years, I was like, man, can we help this person? Like just beyond negative, just seeping toxic vibes. You'd be shocked. And night and day difference between the beginning and the end just by letting go of this. And there's often people who just spend tons and tons of time in just general self-help and YouTube, and it's all surface, and they never address the deeper layer. And everything changes when you do. For real, I've seen some crazy shit. I've seen stuff too from even, well, I'll give a couple stories just real fast and we'll go up. There was one client who had extreme OCD. Now, I'm not saying this will fix OCD. There's many reasons for OCD. But for him, it helped him specifically where he had this crazy OCD. And the type of OCD he had was anytime a negative thought would kick in his mind, he'd have to counter it saying 100 times the opposite. So say the voice in your head's like, I suck. He'd have to be like, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, 100 times to balance it out. That was his OCD. What happens after the 100 times if it kicks in again? He has to do it again. So he couldn't sleep, he couldn't work, he couldn't function. He was just looping on this. He lost his job, lost all his friends. Family would barely talk to him. Everything fucking ruined. And we took him through this, and more specifically, with him, again specifically, made him dive into the fear of not balancing it out. Like, what's the motivating factor? Because it's coping, right? It's like, if that negative thought, I have to balance it out, or else. Well, what's the or else? And diving into it and letting go of that, night and fucking day, gone. Now again, this won't cure complete OCD. It's just an extreme example that comes to mind, but completely gone. And the guy was like, this is absolutely insane just by letting go of that. I've seen people night and day too. Biggest one is anything around social anxiety or what do people think of me. That's the easiest one to fucking handle going through this. And then another big one is in terms of procrastination, direction, and overall self-enjoyment, where there's a lot of actually entrepreneurs who go through this, who have accomplished a certain amount, but they realize like it's just not making them happy. They're just grinding, they're burning out, they're not enjoying it. And a key saying is, hey, if you're getting results, quote unquote results, but you're not enjoying the results, they're not results. You're chasing fucking phantoms.
Like, this program is such a game changer. The way everything's structured and the material, it's been already, even for me, it's just been, I'm noticing a crazy change in the way that my whole life's like playing out.
What you put together is just incredible. There's nothing like that.
I've just jumped like a million levels. It's just been a complete 180 for my experience of existing. That's fucking awesome.
It's just been so huge in terms of so many of the things I'm finally understanding and realizing and epiphanies I'm having.
What you do is a huge inspiration to me, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things you can give to another human in this entire world.
You fucking saved my fucking life, man. I'm telling you, this is real, man.
Sometimes all it takes is just one person who believes in you. Find people who are where you are in life and model them, work with them. I would not be here if I didn't have people who held me accountable.
Wow.
I just felt a click and things are changing.
This program was just top notch.
Seriously, like, this is a masterpiece. This is perfect.
Everything, the way it's set up, the live calls, like all the support from the coaches is fucking incredible.
It's been nuts.
I just had my tears of joy.
This was the best decisions I ever made.
Thank you for creating something wonderful like this.
This program was phenomenal.
This program was amazing.
This program has definitely changed my life.
I know for a fact I'm in the right place.
This is exactly what I was expecting from the program.
It's been spectacular.
I feel really lucky to have found you.
Thank you so much, Julien. It's worth every dollar.